Hello everyone, today I will recap the movie Migration, 2023. This is a 2023 American animated adventure comedy film. The film is about a family of mallard ducks living in a pond, which is considered their paradise. The young ducks are always advised that the outside world is very dangerous, and the pond is the safest place for them. The main characters are the Mallard's family, including parents Mack and Pam, who always love their children, along with two children Dax and Gwen, who are silly but very lovable and kind. At bedtime story time, the father duck, Mack, tells that there is a beautiful pond that is considered paradise. Everything around is happy, but two ducklings have a strange disease. They feel depressed and want to explore the outside world, so they decide to fly away. Unfortunately, they are caught by predators. Giant birds ambush and trap them. Although they try to fight, but they cannot escape and die. That is the story that Mack tells his two children, leaving them confused and not understanding what happened. When Mack tried to continue the story, Pam quickly stopped him and told a more positive version. She said that the giant birds felt sorry for the two lost ducklings and offered to help. Mack, on the other hand, turned the story into a situation where the birds were cruel predators. Pam said that although the two ducklings could have been attacked, their parents had arrived in time to save them. Mack, however, interpreted that their parents had not arrived in time, leading to the death of the ducklings, and that staying in this paradise pond was the safest option. This makes Mack, Dax, and Gwen, feeling discouraged and not knowing what else to say, decided to leave and go to bed. Pam scolded Mack for making children afraid of the outside world. However, he just wanted to protect his little family. The migrating duck family consisted of Mack, Pam, Dax, and Gwen. They lived happily and played together every day on their wonderful pond. While the family was building a nest for the upcoming winter, Pam discovered a new flock of ducks had arrived. She called the whole family out to see and greet the ducks. They of them stood there excitedly watching them flutter about in mysterious and beautiful way. Pam convinced her husband to go greet the new ducks. However, when Mack called out to Dax and Gwen, he realized that they were no longer there. In fact, they ran to where the new flock of ducks had arrived. Although she was scared, Gwen decided to go with Dax to say hello to the newly arrived ducks. When they arrived, they met Kim, daughter of the leader of this newly arrived duck troop. Kim said that her family would be migration south to Jamaica next winter, and it will be great there. After learning that Dax's family had been staying at this pond during the cold winter, she suggested that his family accompany her group south to escape the cold. Before Dax could respond, Kim turned back to ask her father. At this point, Mack yelled and approached because Dax Vaughn had left without asking. Gwen quickly told her father that Dax had told her to come along, and that he was flirting with Kim, a ducks they had just met. The two siblings got into a fight, and Mack had to pull them both back. After exchanging cold greetings, they were about to leave when Kim's father appeared and asked the Mack family if wanted to migration south with them to escape the cold. Pam was excited to hear about a new paradise in Jamaica, but Mack quickly dismissed the idea, and Kim's group left to continue their journey. Pam is angry because her husband doesn't understand her. She and her two children had always wanted to learn about the outside world. That night, Mack sat by the pond, thinking about what his wife had said. Suddenly, drunken Uncle Dan emerged from the mud and said what Mack had always wondered, that Mack would feel lonely if he stayed in this small pond. Realizing this, Mack quickly returned home, woke up the whole family, and prepared for the upcoming adventure. They were surprised and could not believe their eyes. The whole family hugged each other with joy. Uncle Dan appears, and Gwen convinces him to go with the family to Jamaica. After some persuasion, Dan agrees. They check their wing feathers and get ready to fly into the sky to enjoy this wonderful natural air. The family flies in AV formation heading south. However, they suddenly realize something is wrong, and that they flew in the wrong direction. There are dark clouds and lightning ahead, forcing the family to take temporary shelter under a small wooden bridge. Suddenly, a heron named Aaron appears. At first, they are afraid that Aaron will eat them, but it greets them and enthusiastically leads them to its house. When everyone arrives at Aaron's house, they see Aaron's husband Harry, who looks old and like a corpse, which makes them feel scared. The heron uses a frying pan as a bed for the duck family to sleep on. When Harry eats a mosquito, everyone is even more scared. Pam quickly arranges the whole family to sit on the pan. When it was time to turn off the lights and go to bed, the duck family waited for the rain to stop and then planned to leave, but were discovered by Aaron. It reminded them not to go out after dark, because they might be in danger from predators. She seemed to want to keep the two children, so Mack and Pam risked their lives to hold her back so that the children could escape. Suddenly, A catfish appeared and tried to attack Dax and Gwen, but Aaron quickly strangled it, helping the two children escape. At this time, Mack and Pam realized that Aaron only wanted to protect the family, not have any bad intentions. That night, the whole duck family also jumped into bed with Aaron and Harry, and slept well until morning. After the rain, the sky was bright again. The next morning, the duck family said goodbye to Aaron and Harry. Mack called the whole family to fly high to admire the surrounding scenery, where there were beautiful clouds. The whole family happily flew in the sky full of white clouds. Suddenly, Mack discovered a strange red light. As they approached, they encountered many unexpected situations and had to overcome obstacles. Then, they flew to New York, a crowded city. After avoiding many obstacles, they finally landed on a roof. Dan, who was too fat, got stuck on the scaffolding, tried to bounce off, but only got caught on the cloth and fell onto a tree branch. At this time, Dan saw a delicious piece of bread, but the pigeons also rushed to tear it apart. Hearing Dan's cry, the duck family arrived, and a chaotic fight over the bread broke out. Mack accidentally said that pigeons were trash, causing an echo to come from the tongue of an old pigeon. Mack was brought before this pigeon and yelled it for insult. Chump, the leader of the pigeons, kept interrupting Mack, so Pam had to step in with her negotiating skills to agree on a percentage of the bread for each side. Chump liked Pam's straightforward personality, so he started sharing about the life of pigeons on the street. Promising to help Pam's family, she took the opportunity to tell them that her family were lost on the way to Jamaica. Coincidentally, Chump knew a parakeet named Delroy, who knew the way to Jamaica, so he decided to take the family there. On the way to meet Delroy, Chump kept getting hit by cars. Finally, they flew to a nearby building's rooftop. They went down the chimney into a room. Feeling safe, Chump led everyone into the room, where Delroy was sadly locked in a cage. Delroy was Jamaican, and he was being held here. He was very familiar with the way back to Jamaica. Because he missed home so much, and his emotions were overflowing, Delroy cried miserably. To save Delroy, Duck family were determined to get the key from the cook, who had locked Delroy in the cage. Dax wants to go get the keys, but Mack stopped and asked everyone to stay in the room. He decided to go to the kitchen alone to get the key. Finally, he also reached the kitchen. There, he saw the cook using a knife to test the food. Then, the cook took off his jacket, where the key was, and started cooking. As Mack was hiding inside a pumpkin when he found Pam hiding in a pineapple. They decided to go get the key, but Mack was scared of the chef and accidentally caused them to fall, triggering the fire extinguisher to spray everywhere. In their panic, they ran to escape the kitchen staff. The chef spotted them and chased them angrily, but he slipped on the wet floor and fell, which saved Mack and Pam from danger. As soon as they went outside, Mack and Pam suddenly saw people dancing salsa at the party, which made them confused. However, they quickly got into the rhythm of the dance and completed the sheet music excellently. As soon as they finished dancing, the chef appeared, and they rushed back to the room. While opening the cage door to save Delroy, Mack accidentally swallowed the key. Chump locked the door to buy time, and the three of them jumped on Mack so he could vomit the key. Then the chef broke the door open, but found no one. As he was about to leave, Mack inhaled the air from the balloon, causing him to swell up and deflate like a balloon. Thanks to that, Mack kicked the chef unconscious and Mack vomited a key. Delroy quickly took the key and opened the cage door, freeing himself. After a long time of being locked up, Delroy flies into the sky, flapping his wings vigorously. The duck family says goodbye to Chump and leaves. Delroy leads the duck family back to Jamaica, and he also is very happy to return home. Gwen feels the need to go to the bathroom, but is too shy to do so while flying. Pam advises she to get used to going to the bathroom in the air, because the family will not be landing. Eventually, they have to land so that she can go to the bathroom. While walking, Gwen screams because she feels someone is watching her. Mack went to investigate and discovered a mysterious door behind a dense bush. They decides to enter the secret basement, and after a while following the entrance, they find a Yoda class of white ducks. When they are found out, they is warmly welcomed. The leader duck, Gugu, comes to greet and expresses that they are waiting for Earl and May to come and open the door to heaven. Mack realized something was wrong, so he went to check and saw the previous chef. He immediately told Dax to go back to his mother, but Dax refused, instead running to the car to call the ducks to leave, otherwise they would be killed. Unfortunately, the chef turned around and stepped on Dax's wing, causing the boy to lose some feathers. Mack rushed to save his son and called the ducks to fly away, causing the chef to fall. All the ducks quickly flew up to the sky to escape. Dax jumped on his father's back because his wing was injured. The chef left angrily. Mack led the ducks to a nearby lake to rest. As soon as he landed, Mack yelled at Dax for not listening, causing the boy to angrily leave. At night, the chef flew a helicopter to look for the duck family. At this time, Dax couldn't sleep, so he sat in a corner. Gwen followed and wanted to hug her brother to comfort him. Suddenly, the chef's helicopter appeared. He cast a net to catch the flock of ducks and pulled them up. Dax and Gwen hid behind the cupboard, seeing their parents and everyone being captured. The chef locked Mack and Pam in a separate cage. Gwen cried because she was worried about her parents, while Dax comforted his sister and suddenly had an idea to rescue her parents and everyone. Besides, Pam also felt worried because she had to get lost her two beloved children. She thought that it was her wrong decisions that led to this situation of the family. However, Mack gently comforted his wife, helping her calm down. After that, they tried to press the button to release the birds using the salsa dance they learned at the restaurant. However, the chef grabbed the cage. Pam pecked his nose, causing him to let go of the cage. At this point, Delroy finally had enough. He angrily throws an orange at the chef's face for keeping him imprisoned for so many years. The ducks joined forces to throw oranges at the chef, even creating a duck gun with their beaks to shoot oranges at his face. He was knocked unconscious by a pumpkin. It accidentally led open the emergency door, causing both him and Mack and Pam's cage to fall. Mack tries to grab his hair, but it's too late, causing the cage falls freely. At this point, Dax and Gwen suddenly appear, helping parents escape the cage. Finally, Dax and Gwen save their parents just in time. Then family hugs each other in excitement, while Delroy and the ducks also break the door and fly out. The chef is still caught in the net, suspended in the air. Delroy reunites with the duck family, and they continue their flight together. When Delroy shouted that they were almost there, the ducks suddenly found themselves lost in the middle of the sea, not knowing where they were going. Suddenly, Mack noticed that the sea was glowing. Dax called everyone to look towards the rising sun, and sure enough, they had arrived in Jamaica. Delroy was delighted to reunite with his friends. They flew together in the blue sky, admiring the beautiful natural scenery around them. Dax's family also had the opportunity to reunite with Kim's family here. Mack finally recognized and thanked Pam for helping him see new perspectives. The whole duck family played together on the beach in Jamaica under the warm sunshine. In the spring of the following year, the duck family began to leave. Mack met a flock of penguins and agreed to take them home, specifically to Antarctica. The duck family's new journey would continue towards Antarctica. This adventure showed everyone the value of family affection, kindness, courage, and friendship. All the emotions were expressed sincerely. Always try to be a good person, because God will never let down your kindness. If you find it interesting, please give me a like and a comment about this movie. Especially, please subscribe to the channel to follow my movie recap. See you again, my dear friends.